Welcome to the Journey of Becoming. I'm your host, Carrie Mitten. And before we get started, a quick question. Are you ready to break through to your next level? Up Level Your Life Consulting is where executive success meets soul aligned strategy. If you're a high performing professional or an entrepreneur who has accomplished a lot, but deep down knows that there's something more clarity, more impact, more freedom, more you, then this is your moment. Our executive coaching is for leaders who are finally ready to own their voice and step fully into the role of a visionary and a leader. Doing work aligned with their soul, but overwhelmed by wearing all the hats. Letting go of holding it all together and learning to trust themselves again. And looking for a grounded guide who honors both the personal and the professional journey. With personalized coaching tools for aligned decision making and deep vision work, we don't just scratch the surface. We hold space for what's real. This isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more of who you truly are. Let's talk about what's possible for you. Book a free clarity call today, and let's create a bold vision for the next level of your becoming. Visit www.uplevelyourlifeconsulting.com to schedule your call today. Because you didn't come this far to only come this far. And now, on with the show. So our guest today is Donna Marston. Is that correct? Am I saying that right, Donna? I should have asked you that before. And she is the founder of Sharing Without Shame. She's a certified recovery support worker, harm reduction trainer, energy healing practitioner, and the author of 4 books. Donna is known as the Family Recovery Facilitator, a heart-led entrepreneur who helps women, especially mothers, heal from the trauma of loving someone in active addiction. Through her Heart Shift method, she guides families in finding emotional freedom by practicing awareness, acceptance, boundaries, compassion, and commitment. Her work is deeply personal and powerful, born from her own experience of walking the heartbreaking path of addiction in her family. Donna's courage to speak her truth and lead with vulnerability is creating a movement that's changing lives across the country. Welcome to the show, Donna.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So grateful that you're here. So tell me a little bit about yourself. What happened when you decided to move on to these programs? Start from the beginning. Let's just say every transformation has a turning point, right? So maybe share a pivotal moment or a decision that you made in your life.
Well, it was when my son was in active addiction.
Okay, yeah.
And, that was something that went on for 10 years. And 2 years, 8 years into it,
Mm-hmm.
I hit my enough.
Mm.
And I just knew it was time that I needed to start saving me instead of trying to save him who didn't want to be saved or rescued. Maybe that's a better word, rescue. And so it was just baby steps and baby steps and baby steps. And from where I was there back in that was 2006 to now, this journey has been very organic, was not planned. And there was a path laid out for me that I happened to follow.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love, that sometimes we don't, we plan out our life, we think it's going to go this way, and then whatever our God, universe, higher power, whatever that is, steps in and says, "Nope, you're going to go this way." Right? But
Let me
here's the
shake it
difference.
up.
Yeah, and here's the difference I think is so beautiful is that, people like you and I, we step into that, right? We don't step away, we step into it. So can you take us back to a moment when you realized that you were ready to step into your true purpose? I mean, give us a little bit more on that.
Yeah, well, it was, as I said, in 2008, and a friend had said to me, you ought to read this book, Asking is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And I was like, oh, I just can't look at another self-help book about addiction and what I need to know, what I don't need to know, whatever.
Mhm.
And she said, and I said, I can't, I just can't. She said, well, read page, I think it was 134. So I did. And it was an emotional scale, 1 to 22. And I was number 22. I was full of despair. I was in the fetal position. I
Mm.
was in bed, you know, just, I was just, had been a mess up until this point.
Mhm.
And it was like something snapped.
Uh-huh.
And at that point, I, you know, just took baby steps and I reached out for help, for support.
Mm.
I'm an Italian Irish mother. I'm going to do it myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how to raise my child because
Mhm.
I know what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And, I made messes along the way. And so I started to reach out and I reached out to some people in our local government. And I found my voice and I found a passion that I didn't know I had. And again, it just was a little bit at a time. Different situations showed up.
Mhm.
And, when I reached out to the people in the state of New Hampshire, they were like, oh, geez, we need to introduce you to this person. And then that person wanted to send me on this mission for the state of New Hampshire for a recovery movement.
Mhm.
And so I went on that.
Mhm.
And from there, and I lived on a Knoll farm for a week in a tent. I don't usually tent. And I don't like the woods. And I was in the woods by myself in a tent. So it was very humbling and it was the first time that I went inside and connected to this little girl
Yeah.
who was wounded at 9 years old or 5 years old, 9 years old, different times of
Mhm.
um, people hurt you, right? And so she started showing up, and so here I am on this mission for my son or for the state, but it's in hopes of helping my son and other parents like me. But I'm also doing some internal healing at the same time.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and it just was a little bit at a time. And but my goal was to start family support in the state of New Hampshire, and that's what I did. I founded Family Sharing Without Shame, and I ran family support at two locations, one at our local hospital and one at a treatment facility, because they heard about me. It wasn't I didn't get paid or anything. It was just something I made an agreement with a power greater than me when
Mhm.
my son got sober, because he got sober 2 years after I hit my enough.
Mhm.
And I said, I will pay it forward the rest of my life as long as you can keep him in recovery.
Mhm.
And that's the agreement I made, and that's why I do what I do.
Mhm. I love that you said, that you had to work on yourself. Oftentimes, and we all know people like this, that they look outside themselves at other people to try and heal them first,
Yep.
right? And that's really not how this works, and you and
Uh-uh.
I know, as a specialist in your field and a specialist in my field, it's the internal work that we do first that's the only way that we can support others. Right.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so beautiful. Yeah, I appreciate that. And thank you for saying that, because there are a lot of coaches that are out there, and I wish them all well. But what I wish most of all is that they do the internal work first, right? It's
Yeah.
so vitally important. Yeah.
Yeah. Because how do you help people move through their pain, guide them through their pain, if you don't understand what that is?
Hmm.
And for me, when it started happening, it would be like a 3 months at a time where I thought I was deeply depressed,
Hmm.
and the silence became very loud.
Hmm.
And as I'm mourning my child who's still alive, this little girl is showing up going,
Yeah.
help me,
Yeah.
love me, can't just
Yes.
love me.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it
Love
was
that.
it was challenging.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely it is. It's I often say that personal development is the hardest work we'll ever do, right?
Ugh,
And I love, I mean I've experienced this myself, and through my own experiences with my own son, you know, I wouldn't wish that on anyone, but
mm-mm.
I'm so grateful for the outcome.
Right.
and what it did for me and what it did for him and what it did for our entire family. And, and so, I'm on this path because I was in that yuck
Right.
with him and something came up with me and I was able to work through that. And in
Hmm.
turn, it was a ripple effect.
Right. And if you don't deal with the yuck, you stay stuck.
Yeah, amen to that, sister. I love that. I'm going to write that down. If you don't deal with the yuck, you stay stuck. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, we kind of already talked about mindset shifts. Is there any like, one of the things that came up for me when you were talking about being in the depression, we often overlook depression and not think about, well, this is actually birthing something new in me,
Mm. Hmm.
right? And so,
Yeah.
were there any other mindset shifts that you had to work with in achieving success and the confidence in your life that you have now?
I had to, yeah, one of the biggest shift was that I had to change how I prayed.
Mm-hmm.
So my prayers used to be, I don't want my son to use drugs. I don't want my son to be with those damn drug dealers. I don't want. And what the universe doesn't understand is the word I don't want.
Yes. Yes.
So I learned, had that mind shift of, let me pray for what I want. So
Mm,
I would pray, I want my son to live a healthy, happy life.
yeah.
And my son does today.
Yes.
And it was, didn't happen like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was time over time over time.
Mm-hmm.
And, he would read some of my books that I'd have laying around, or he would watch a movie with me. There was just little shifts,
Mm-hmm.
both of us. And I started putting up positive affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
And he liked that. And then, I got this book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay.
Yeah.
He'll tell you to this day, I bought it for him. No, I bought it for me, because it's
Yeah.
about looking at your insecurities. And I was still, looking in. I
Yeah.
had to go do all that work.
Mm-hmm.
And, um, and that's one of the tools he utilized to get, find his recovery, was that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was those mind shifts. Don't let, my head was my hell until I shifted it,
Yeah.
until I decided I'm going to look at the positives and not the negative. And here's one thing that we do when we have a loved one in active addiction, is we have a tendency to be hyper focused on everything they're doing wrong. And we
Mm,
don't see that tiny little bit, that little light of what they're doing right.
mm.
And we're pointing our finger and we're saying stuff to them and we're belittling them and we're just, pounding them instead of lifting them up.
Right. What we focus on expands, right? So if we're
Yeah,
focusing on the negative, we're going to continue to see the negative. Yeah.
right.
I
Yeah, so that's another mind shift. You have to shift how you talk to your child.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And, my mentor and I share with my clients is, like you just said, approach goals rather than avoidance goals, right? Our subconscious mind actually can't even process negative. If we say to it, don't think about the purple tree, right? The first thing that your mind does is think about a purple tree, right?
And
And
it gets
so
bigger and bigger and bigger.
yes, exactly. So we get to focus on what we do want, not what we don't want. We get to focus
Hmm.
on just like training a puppy, it's positive reinforcement, right? You have to
Right.
train them in the way that they should go, right? And so
Hmm.
yeah, I love that. I love that. And that is a pivotal thing that I share with my clients all the time is, focus on what you do want, not what you don't
Hmm.
want, right?
Hmm.
It's
Because you'll
actually
just
more
get more of it.
sustainable.
Right. And it feels better. Because as I
Abs-
said, my head was my hell.
Yeah.
I was creating stories I didn't know to be true. I was believing them. I was creating scenarios with the what ifs, the could ifs, the should ifs, all in here. And
Mhm.
all it did was break my heart even more. And
Yeah.
I blamed him for it.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And that all that was doing was bringing you down. And I'm agreeing with you because as we talked earlier, a similar situation with my son and the things that we went through. And so I relate to your stories so well. And I know that there are a lot of other people who are out there that are relating to the story as well. So
Hmm.
so did you how do you manage fear and self-doubt on your journey?
Well, it was challenging in the beginning. If
Uh-huh.
I would journal. I
Uh-huh.
would use
Okay.
the journal, journal about, put my fears down. I started a burn box. And so I would write my fears, I would put it in the burn box, or I'd write negative thoughts, or a negative person, somebody that was irritating me or
Mhm.
upsetting me or hurting me, and anything that didn't serve me.
Mhm.
I started to put in my box, and I use, oh, I don't have one here. I use these little square tissue boxes, and I decorated them,
Mhm.
took all the tissues out.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I found this really cool saying about, burning what no longer serves you.
Uh-huh.
So I would just put it in till, and then there would come a time where it'd be like, I think it's enough. And I'd go out to my fire pit and I'd open it and read it and throw it in the fire.
Beautiful.
Like I'm letting, that was one of my rituals that I used to do. And I actually, we moved about almost a year ago, and I came across all my old diaries.
Mm.
And my old house always kind of felt heavy.
Mhm.
And I decided, I don't need those. I don't need that heaviness here. So I burnt them all.
Beautiful.
And I,
Beautiful.
when I did it, it released,
Mhm.
what I didn't know I was still carrying.
Yeah. I love the thought of burning things in a fire because, the fire releases upward and into the universe, right? And the universe will take it and renew that negative energy, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then I have a God box. I believe in a universal energy
Yep.
that I choose to call God. It's
Uh-huh.
a power that's greater than me. And
Yep.
so I would put everything that I hope for or wish for my loved ones or for myself.
Hmm.
Or if somebody was sick and suffering, I'd put their name in it. And every January 1st,
Hmm.
I open the box and I look and see what came true. And
Mm.
then and if it didn't and I still feel I need it in my life, I would put it back in the box.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
actually, I started doing that on Christmas Eve with the kids because I have adult children,
Hmm.
and it gets a little boring when our kids are adults. It's not as fun when they're little kids,
I love it. You're so true. That's so
right?
true.
So I was like, what can I do that will be fun? I'm still trying to do those things that makes it fun for everybody.
Right.
And so I got this big jar and I decorated it with all these Christmas decorations. And I gave everybody a pen and decorative little pads of paper. And I said, write your wishes and your dreams for the next year.
Mm.
What do you make a Christmas Eve? Because we celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve. Make your Christmas wish
Mm.
tonight
Hmm.
and we'll visit it next Christmas Eve.
Mm.
And so that's a tradition that we
Oh, I
started.
love that tradition.
And
Can I borrow
and
that
they're
from
like,
you?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, they put in that they wanted a baby, and the next year they were pregnant, or
Oh, lovely.
and if it was something that didn't happen, they're like, yeah, maybe I don't think I want that anymore. But
Mm.
if you want it, if you continue to want it, you put it back in if it hasn't come true yet.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. So tell me what are you doing now? What is it? What is your business and how do you support families in addiction?
So my business is Sharing Without Shame,
Hmm.
and I support families, and in particular parents, mothers,
Hmm.
I do one-on-one consultations. I have 4 books that I wrote. I do workshops. I'll teach people how to facilitate support groups if they want to do that. I have an online secret support group that's free that people can join. And right now I'm working on having a summit for parents and family members
Hmm.
in September, which is National Recovery Month. And I'm hoping to have some great speakers about, let's talk about ADHD and addiction.
Hmm.
That's something people always don't connect, but there's a connection there.
Hmm.
Let's talk about pouring from an empty cup. How do we fill it up?
Hmm.
Because that we get empty, we become emotionally and financially depleted.
Hmm.
And who's throwing us a life raft?
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's what I do. I throw out a life raft, and if people want to grab it, I'll help pull you in.
Beautiful.
When I was running my meetings, we'd always end the meeting by standing up, and we would hold hands and say, I put my hand in yours, so together we can do what you no longer have to do alone. And
Beautiful.
that's what I do. I teach tools, better coping skills, how to have a conversation with your loved one who's sick and suffering
Mhm.
without shaming and blaming them.
Mhm.
We talk about unhealthy helping instead of telling parents, "Oh, you're codependent and you're an enabler."
Mm.
We do that out of love.
Mm.
We do that because we love our children. We're
Mm.
not trying to hurt them, but we have to be educated. So
Right.
I educate families about the difference of how unhealthy helping is doing for your child. And I'm talking teen or adult. It
Mhm.
could be a 50-year-old or a 70-year-old child. Everybody's a child to somebody.
Mhm.
And it's just teaching, it's just um, showing them the way, basically,
Mm. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love how you took something that could have really shaken you, and it
Ugh,
did at one point, but could have taken you down completely,
yep.
and brought it into something that really shaped you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And I love that. Great job. Great job.
Thanks.
So
Thank
looking
you.
back at everything that you've gone through and to get where you are today, what's the one piece of advice that you would give someone who's still on their, as we all are, on our journey of becoming?
Mm, you got this.
Mm.
You're gonna be okay.
Mhm.
You just have to figure it out,
Mm.
find your path.
Mm.
Everybody's on a journey, and it's either we're gonna let it shake us up and make a mess,
Mhm.
or like you and me, we picked up our mess and we made it our message. We turned our pain into purpose,
That's right.
right? And
Mhm.
so that we can move forward helping other people so that they can pick themselves up.
Mhm.
Because being in the fetal position is not a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's also a time to recoil, right?
Mm-hmm.
To go inward and then to birth something brand new. And I absolutely love that visual. So
Yeah.
beautiful.
And being open to that because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's painful. It's not a good time.
Right. Right. Right.
And I've been doing this work for 18, well, he's 19 years or more, really,
Yeah.
19 years. And I'm a work in progress.
Hmm.
I have reoccurrences,
Yeah.
just like anybody
Yeah.
with drug addiction, alcoholism, whatever, they can have a reoccurrence.
Yeah.
Us unhealthy helpers, we do too.
That's right.
And be
That's
gentle and kind to myself because it's okay. Sometimes I go backwards because I was a people pleaser.
hmm
And all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute, you're doing that again.
hmm hmm
Let's take a step back. Let's take a pause.
Yeah.
I'm not going to beat myself up over it, but
Right.
let's take a pause, journal about it.
hmm
I have a great journaling technique that you write to yourself,
hmm
whether it's your inner child, your addicted self, or whatever it is, whatever that other person, that internal pain is, you
hmm
figure out a name. So I use my inner child. I call her little D.
hmm
And I'll write to her and say, whatever, like what's going on, and we write back and forth and you get answers, believe it or
hmm
not.
hmm
Sounds a little crazy, but you get
No,
answers.
I love that. I love that because that's your subconscious mind, right? And your subconscious mind has perfect memory of everything. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'll tell you a story. I had this woman, I had called her and said, listen, I have a 40-year-old gentleman who is
Oops, little internet connection.
wants to seek treatment, and he's with his children tonight, and he Sunday nights um is for his family. So he doesn't do anything with the programs on Sunday nights. And she went in on me and started to tell me that he could die. He's probably going to die. He's going to overdose and die. I mean, she went on for like 10, 15 minutes.
Hmm
And I had everything to do to keep my composure and not hang up on her and continue to be nice. It
Mm-hmm.
was hard.
Mm-hmm.
And the next, it was like that was a Sunday night. That Friday, she called and she said, "Do you have time for an apology?" I said, "Well, it depends on who's giving it." And she
Mm-hmm.
said she was. I said, "Go for it." And she said, "You know, when I said what I said, I knew it was wrong, but I didn't know why."
Mm-hmm.
And so my point is she did this journaling. She journaled using me. She
Mm-hmm.
spoke for me.
Mm-hmm.
And through this, she realized that she was in fear of her son having a reoccurrence, a relapse,
Mm-hmm.
and she took it out on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
through that form of journaling, she was able to identify that and apologize for her behavior. So that's why I think it's really important that we to utilize a tool like that to help us manage to get through things, different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Beautiful. Love it. I love it.
Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey with us, Donna.
Oh,
It's been a pleasure hearing about, all the breakthroughs, all the lessons you've learned, all the impact that you're having in the world. I'm sure our listeners are going to feel inspired as well in their own lives. Before we wrap up, where can our listeners connect with you, learn more about you and your work?
well, I have a Facebook page.
Okay.
That's Sharing Without Shame. They can go to my website, www.sharingwithoutshame.com. I have 4 books on Amazon. Sharing Without Shame is one of the books.
Okay.
Healing Without Shame, Just for Today, and Peeling the Onion.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you again for being here today. I know your story will leave our listeners feeling empowered, ready to take action, ready for their journey of becoming. And it starts with one brave step. So take it today, right? Take it today.
Right.
So until next time, keep embracing your transformation on your journey of becoming.